Hello, and welcome to Select 10. It's a known fact that sci-fi is capable of delivering both amazement and horror, and the top sci-fi shows of 2022 contain both. From new entries to evergreen classics, these 10 new storylines have some of the great sci-fi concepts that make them a must-watch for sci-fi fans. Today, we'll go over our recommendations for the top 10 finest new sci-fi series released in 2022 so far. Now let's start the video. Number 10. Parallels. It is a French science fiction series created by Quoc Dang Tran. The plot centers on Sam, Bilal, Romain, and Victor, four school friends who have comfortable lives in a beautiful mountain community. However, their quiet world is shattered when a scientific experiment breaks time and flips their realities up and down in a fraction of a second, while the world restarts everything. The present, the future, and multiverses collide, dividing the teens and transporting them into alternate realities in separate timelines. Now, in order to figure out exactly what had happened and make everything right, they set out to locate one another and go back to the familiar world. Parallels may sound like a combination of Stranger Things and a dark series, but comparisons aside, this mystery adventure does keep you interested, and if multiverse time travel is your thing, then this show is for you. And the show has a 7.1 rating on IMDb and an 81% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 9. Halo. Before you ask how Halo ended up on this list, allow me to clarify my point. Yes, the series significantly changed the original material, and it differentiates from the game, but it also brought viewers to an incredible, dynamic universe set in the distant future that is well worth watching. And for those of you who are new to this show, allow me to give you a little summary so you may begin watching. It is an epic military sci-fi series based on the video game franchise of the same name. The series is set in the year 2552, when people on the continent of Madrigal have been struggling for freedom from Earth, but a deadly battle with the Intergalactic Covenant makes their situation even worse. The central story follows the Spartan elite military leader, Master Chief, as he and his elite soldiers, Spartans, combine forces to fight an intense 26th century-old battle between humankind and an alien enemy known as the Covenant. If you can put the comparison aside, Halo is a fantastic sci-fi show full of great action and adventure that is a delight to watch. And the show has a 7.1 rating on IMDb and a 69% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 8. The Imperfects. It is a sci-fi drama series created by Dennis Heaton and Shelley Erickson. The plot centers on three teenagers named Abby, Juan, and Tilda, who undergo an experimental genetic treatment that turns them into monsters. As a result, they are forced to work together to track down the responsible scientist and persuade him to transform them back into humans. On the other hand, Dr. Sidney Burke, a talented biologist looking to right her professional and ethical wrongs, joins forces with Abby, Juan, and Tilda to find the doctor liable for their unfortunate destiny. The story progresses further as the group tries to chase down the mad scientist, Dr. Alex Sarkov, who messed with their genetics, resulting in destructive abilities. Overall, it's a fun, engaging, well-made series with a familiar storyline. It's neither good nor bad, but I'd suggest this for people seeking a lighthearted sci-fi fantasy with action, suspense, and a touch of humor for a fun evening. And the show has a 6 rating on IMDb and a 78% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 7. The Time Traveler's Wife. Based on the 2003 novel of the same name, it is a sci-fi romantic drama directed by David Nutter. The plot revolves around the mysterious lives of married couple Henry DeTamble and Claire Absher. Henry is a historian who has a genetic condition that permits him to unintentionally travel across time, while Claire is an artist who must manage his unexcused absences. However, his special skill produces its own set of marital problems, while his time traveling allows the two to come to know each other in ways that most real-life partners are never allowed to experience. The series covers a fanciful relationship between Henry DeTamble and his wife, Claire Ann Absher, and depicts how his condition compromises their relationship over time. The show is packed with humor, romance, surprises, and a complex story that will test your mind. And the show has a 7.7 rating on IMDb and an 82% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 6. Night Sky. It is a science fiction drama series starring J.K. Simmons and Sissy Spacek as Franklin and Irene York, a couple who discovered a cave hidden on their property decades ago that somehow connects to a strange lonely planet. Since then, they have kept this revelation a secret, but when a strange young man comes to their home, their calm existence is abruptly flipped upside down, and the strange cave they believed they knew so well turns out to be far more than they imagined. As their revelations start to surface, Frank and Irene's lives are changed forever as they try to make sense of what's going on. If you are looking for sci-fi alien action in this show, you should skip it, but if you are looking for a new and refreshing sci-fi storyline, this show will not disappoint you. It has an exciting new concept that keeps you intrigued throughout the series and is unlike anything you have seen in the sci-fi genre this year. And the show has a 7.4 rating on IMDb and an 81% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 5. Paper Girls. It is a sci-fi mystery series created by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang. The story centers on 4 young girls who, while delivering newspapers on the day following Thanksgiving in 1988, unintentionally get engaged in a dispute between competing time-traveling organizations, which sends them on a trip back in time. As they look for a way home, they encounter their older selves and discover how to cooperate to rescue the world. I understand what you're thinking, and certainly, the similarities between Stranger Things and Dark first appeared in parallels, and then in this, it's becoming more and more common that when we see young people riding bikes and experiencing the never-ending difficulties of time travel, we immediately associate them with Stranger Things and Dark. However, despite its flaws, the show stands out from others in the same genre thanks to its original concept and strong sci-fi elements. And the show has a 7.3 rating on IMDb and an 88% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 4. The Man Who Fell to Earth. It is a science fiction drama series based on the 1963 novel of the same name by Walter Tevis. The story follows an alien known as Faraday who falls down into the New Mexico oil reserves on a quest to locate the brilliant engineer, Justin Falls, the only person on Earth who can possibly save his species. Faraday arrived on Earth to transport water back to his distant planet, but he is unintentionally diverted by all the temptations that the modern world provides. As a result, things do not go as planned, and more problems occur as he tries to fit in and become more human. But the story gets dramatic when he and Justin realize that in order to secure his world, he must first save ours. Overall, it is an exceptionally well-written, well-acted, and elegantly told story of an alien on a quest to save his species. The series has an amazing concept and is a must-watch for sci-fi fans. And the show has a 7.1 rating on IMDb and an 80% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 3. Severance. It is an sci-fi psychological thriller series created by Dan Erickson. The story centers on Mark, a worker for Lumen Industries who chose to take part in the firm's Severance program. The purpose of the program is to help individuals achieve a healthy work-life balance by injecting a technological implant that separates their job and personal emotions. Strangely, they are unable to remember anything about their daily lives while at work, but as soon as their work is over, they forget about the workplace. However, a problem emerges when a suspicious employee appears outside of workplace, and Mark embarks on a mission to figure out the truth about their work. There are little amounts of suspense, a huge amount of bizarre, weird humor, and science fiction. And what makes Severance so intriguing is the way it switches between these different genres. It is easily one of the best and most unique, thought-provoking sci-fi thriller of recent times. The show has an 8.7 rating on IMDb and a 93% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 2. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. It is an epic sci-fi adventure series based on the Star Trek TV series by Gene Roddenberry. This show is a prequel to Star Trek, the original series, and a spin-off of Star Trek Discovery. The plot follows Captain Christopher Pike and the USS Enterprise team as they bravely venture into uncharted territory in search of new life and new societies on odd new planets around the universe. Strange New Worlds returns to its roots with stand-alone adventures set on the many planets visited by the Enterprise crew. For me, this show is better than Star Trek Discovery because it shares so many qualities with the original Star Trek series, including its overall feel and style, extensive use of science fiction, and solo storylines. It is without a doubt one of the scariest Star Trek shows after Deep Space Nine, and there is enough to keep a sci-fi fan entertained. The show has an 8.2 rating on IMDb and an 80% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 1. From. It is a science fiction horror drama series created by John Griffin. The series takes place in a strange town where everyone who arrives is trapped and prevented from leaving by a mysterious force. The main plot focuses on the townspeople as they struggle to survive and look for a way out while avoiding the horrors of the nearby woods and the horrific monsters that come every night. To put it simply in a single sentence, it is a spectacular show that should not be missed. It has an insanely dramatic horror story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. You will get to know and enjoy the residents while being drawn in by the suspense and tension involving the creatures that feed on the town. It is easily one of the best and must-watch show of 2022, so don't miss this one. The show has a 7.6 rating on IMDb and an 85% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.